Yo, we here, man, at N.E.E.D's studio. This is the first day we ever link up, man. We're gonna document this whole shit, and hopefully one day we'll look back at it and be like, wow, bro, remember this shit? Yo, Nee, say what up.
What up, y'all? We're in the King's Chamber. J-Mac finally came through. My man Juan hooked up with a little meeting, and now we're gonna start working and making some special things happen. So let's fucking go.
Yo, how long you been doing this for?
On and off. I mean, I started doing music when I was a kid, but like recording myself and engineering probably 2001.
Wow.
Third floor. This same spot. Third floor. And then like I was saying earlier, you know, just took a break for a little while, but kept being creative for personal reasons. But yeah, probably on and off, but for the most part, consistently for the last 20, 25 years.
So he's an OG, y'all. He ain't new to this shit. He's true to this shit.
For a long time, bro. I got some. There's some relics around here, man. There's some Rhode Island relics around here. Anyone that was in the scene, maybe back in 05 to maybe 12, they know me very well. I mean, they know I really act. A whole bunch of us, like it's not just me, but there was a whole bunch of us very, very active back in the scene. Most of them actually not. But one of them, Slap, you out there. Mike Slavchev, he's out there. Cake and Minko, I want to give them a shout out.
Shout outs to them.
Me and him, we talk all the time, and we're like, bro, we're like the only ones that are still going, bro. So yeah, man. So other than that, doing it for a long time. I think with this, something like this, you kind of know that you always want to do it, like when you're a kid, but there's so many external forces telling you this is supposed to happen, you're supposed to do this or that, and so you lose focus.
Oh, they'd be like, get a job.
Yeah, that's
something realistic.
That's part of it. That's part of it, right? So, deep down, you have to always know, like, shit, if I know I'm going to circle back to that and I can't get that out of my brain and I love that so much, whether it's music or not, for us, it's something like it's music.
Word.
If you don't chase that, it's going to chase you for the rest of your life. And I don't want something chasing me. I'd rather chase something.
Like living with regret, right?
Absolutely, 1,000%. Yeah. And I don't want something like that chasing me when I can really just stop and go, wait, I can just chase you and get that?
Facts.
Like, and if you chase me, like, I'm always going to have something there? Nah, I don't want that. Right. I'd rather just figure out, all right, I might fail, but at least I'm going to go down doing what I love, and I'm not going to be mad at that, Yo, I'd be mad, right? So I'd be mad, honestly, like, this is like a podcast episode, but I'd be mad if I didn't go for it, right? And I just thought about it my whole life, and what if? And I'd be mad if I had a lot of money and I still didn't feel, and I didn't still feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
I'd rather just just go for it and see what happens along the way. I don't know, man.
Yo, where can people follow you at to book you?
This is N.E.E.D. At literally, this is N.E.E.D is the phrase. I'm on Insta at this is N.E.E.D. I'm on TikTok at this is N.E.E.D. N.E.E.D. So all dots in between the N.E.E.D. That is on YouTube. That's not really active yet, but that's where I'm at. This is N.E.E.D, man. You can find me online, and you type in N.E.E.D with all the dots and caps on Spotify, Apple. Check my catalog there. My recent catalog, my old catalog is my old catalog. It's out in the abyss somewhere.
Word.
But yeah, that's where I'm at, man. So yeah, we're gonna document a
now
lot of shit.
you exactly. What do you? So those out there who are watching for the first time, you engineer. You also do beat production.
I started rapping. So,
okay.
First project was 2005. I started rapping, and then I self-taught engineer. We were talking about this, right?
Facts.
Always recorded from home. It's a great asset if you can learn to do it, and you can do it well. Whether you learn to mix it or not, that's another story. But I always recorded from home, and then with that being said, to save on budget and also to put me in a position like this, right, to engineer for other people and whatnot, I learned on my own. So self-taught engineer. I don't really make beats. I have before. I'm familiar with shit. I'm familiar in the analog realm. Like, you could probably put me in an analog studio, and
that's fine with the boards and shit.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
That's dope.
So I do that. I started getting more into videography, anything I can do that's gonna make my artistry better, which includes, right, me teaching other people how to make their artistry better. Like, that's going to make me better, too. Like, I don't know how that's going to come back to me.
Word.
So, in the end, I guess I'm some sort of art guy, and I can't explain it. Like, sometimes I sit there and doodle pictures, too. Like, you know, I'm sure you do the same shit.
Yeah.
I don't know, art guys art, you know.
You're always thinking.
I could have been an actor. I feel like I should have been an actor if I didn't like rap so much.
Well, it goes hand in hand. Maybe one day you could do that.
Maybe if I didn't grow up in, you know, a little more of a, you know, if it was an urban community, if it wasn't, maybe if it was more rural and I didn't have access to rap, or I didn't identify with the music scene, or whatever it is, maybe I would have got into acting more than rap, but it just so happened to be this. But I feel like if I'm such a creative person that whatever I put my mind to or put my dedication to, I'll get it and I'll be great at it. You know what I'm saying? So going back to that, it started off as rapping. I started rapping, hearing my first Rakim record when I was like 9 years old. You know what I'm saying? Hearing Rakim and being like, yo, I like that. I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? And I started writing raps like literally back then, recording on a little boombox. They had like this little thing here. No, you know, not a lot of people knew, but there was a microphone on your boombox, and if you hit the play and record button, you didn't have to only record the tape, but you could record into the mic.
Oh,
so I used to record raps like that onto tapes when I was like 9-10 years old, and everyone knows I was
on the Maxwell cassette tapes.
You know
and
what I'm
shit?
saying?
Yeah, I know.
All that shit. You know what I mean? So all the tricks, you know, you gotta stuff the holes with a little paper or a little tape so you can record and dub. All these little tricks. So I started back then, and then as it got cooler and more digitized, I'm like basically as digital as possible.
Yo, people don't know, bro. So for you to get to a studio back in the day, right? It was very difficult. You couldn't find studios like that.
Absolutely. And they were all like, you know, a lot of analog space, and like you needed a specific type of person to work on your record. Maybe if there was someone that only worked on rock, they were familiar with how to engineer rock records, and rock records are engineered and mixed different than rap records. Like rap records are super drum heavy, so they have to have a lot of bottom end, and rock records have a lot of mid range and shit, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, even if you got to a studio, you'd work with people. You can ask these guys from the 80s and 90s, too, like these pioneer cats, how they would clash or have like these disagreements or agreements with engineers. Like, no, that's not how we want it to sound. Like, our music is supposed to be blah, blah. And we play it in clubs loud and this. And
it was very expensive to record.
Yeah, and they were recording on tape, so you had to buy the whole reel of tape. You couldn't rent that. Like, you had to own it. Your song got recorded on that. So whoever paid for the session owned that master, literally, like the tape itself. It's a big, like, you know, little...
It looked like a VCR
big ass round ass tape. So yeah, they recorded on that, and you couldn't like literally just like you couldn't just cut and edit something, delete and use your computer. They had to like take the tape
and
cut it. And pay. So all those technicalities were different then. Pricing was different, like you were saying. But finding a studio, finding an engineer that was dope. These days, everyone says they're an engineer.
Facts. Anybody could YouTube how to be an engineer now. Just be like, I'm an engineer.
And, you know, you can learn a lot of good things. I learned a lot by. But let's also be honest. Like, it's not what you watch. It's how many hours you sit there and spend doing it, and who else you sit there learning from and asking questions with. Shout out to Vic Hucha. Shout out to Larry O. And of course, my main homie Knox Beats. Those are three guys that I've used outside of myself in the past few years. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So and having mentors too. Like if there is someone that you look up to or that you see and that you're like, wow, I like their sound, I like what they do, they're dope. No matter what part of the art, whether you're a producer, you're a videographer, you're an MC, you're an engineer, you're a lights person. If there's someone, don't be afraid to ask questions
and learn, right?
Yeah, don't be afraid to like pay to go to gigs to see other people that they're working for, just to watch them work. You want me to say that again? So pay to go to gigs to watch people that they work for, so you can watch them. Right? So J-Mac, let's say you were a videographer for someone, and I don't know who they are, but I know you're their videographer, and I can't get a hold of you, or you're too busy, or your manager's not hitting me back, but I know this dude's got a show.
Now you pull up.
I'll pull up to the show, and I go, yo, and you're going to be like, oh shit, that's N.E.E.D from fucking Insta. All right, you actually pulled up, and I'll be like, yo, got some questions.
Well, that's called building a relationship too, no?
You can't just rely on, I sent a message and they didn't hit me back. He's a fucking asshole. Like, no, like, do better business.
Word.
Figure out a way. You know, and some people don't want to do that. Some people are like, nah, just book it with my agent or book it with my manager. And you got to respect that. That's where they're at, and that's how they do things. So knowing where to get your resources and what resources are available to you, what's in your budget, and then running with that. And knowing at the time I didn't have a lot of money, I had to figure out how to do everything on my own. I just started as an engineer rapping and then engineering my own shit. And then it just kind of like went from there. And then I got to a point where I couldn't get my records to sound the way I wanted them to sound. And so I went and I outsourced and I found other guys. And during that process, I always try to keep learning, right?
Exactly.
You have access to everything you fucking need. Like,
on the phone.
Like, this ain't a phone anymore. I try to tell people, like, I spent $1,500 on a phone. I go, no.
It's
this
a
is
computer.
Supercomputer.
Yeah,
like,
fact.
What do you mean, I'll spend $1,500 on a supercomputer I can put in my pocket that connects me with the fucking universe in a second, right? So you can get everything you need right here if you got the dedication and the time, you know? It ain't the Manly that's going to make you sound great. It ain't the Pro Tools that's going to make you sound great. It's like everything else that goes with it, right? It's a complete package. So, going back to answer your question, man, like, that's the long of the short. I started as an artist and then became engineer, visionary, creative architect, right? A creative architect. That's kind of like how I would, if I had to give myself an adjective, it's like I'm a creative architect.
Yeah.
I don't like to put it in one simple realm. This is probably my best realm. But I got cameras for other reasons. I have hands and thoughts for other reasons. I write and I have ideas for movies and this and that. So a creative architect, I guess. But it started with rapping, bro, and engineering. And then you realize that you don't ever want to limit yourself as an artist.
Yeah. You don't want to put yourself in a box, right?
Nah, and then even if you're just making one genre of music, if you're just making rap, right? You might get to a point where you're like, fuck, man, like, I keep saying the same shit, or it sounds the same. Like, how many times can you express the same thing, or this in the same way, or in the same sound? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to paint the same picture over and over again. Because sometimes you want it raining.
Yeah, that's a fact.
That ass. Sometimes you need a snowstorm, right? Sometimes you're like, oh shit, you can see the wolf's eyes in that picture. You're like, damn, I'm not alone. I thought this was a pretty picture. We're in the woods chilling, but you see some fucking red eyes. Like, sometimes you want that and you need that. It's part of being creative and part of fucking fueling your juices. Because we were saying this earlier.
Exactly.
The job as an artist is to represent the human condition for people that can't do it for themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
Yo, man, I appreciate the words of advice. This is going to be one of many more. I just, like, for everyone out there watching, this is going to be a behind-the-scenes thing that I'm going to start doing. Absolutely. And you're actually the first person to do it with me, so I appreciate that, man.
Because we're going to build a great relationship. We got a lot of stuff to work on, and this is going to be great. Hey, thank you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. J-Mac, thanks for coming by.
You already know. We're signing out. The J-Mac Experience Podcast, behind the scenes, a day in the life with N.E.E.D.
You are now tuned in to the J-Mac Experience Podcast.